This is Dr. Zorba Pastor with an update concerning the hepatitis B vaccine. So let me start out, first of all, of why we give the hepatitis B vaccine in newborns and where we have good data on what it's done. So back in 1991, the U.S. finally adopted an idea that we should have universal vaccination for all children against hepatitis B. Hepatitis B is spread during childbirth if a mother has Hep B. You can't tell if a mother has Hep B all the time. Sometimes she may be hepatitis B on a lab test. Sometimes it's too early for the lab test to be positive. Sometimes the lab test is wrong. She actually has hepatitis B. Sometimes she goes to the hospital and never had the lab test in the first place. So the idea is let's give it to all the newborns. Now, why would we do that? And why do we give it at birth? We give it at birth because a lot of hepatitis B is actually transmitted to a newborn at birth. We do a lot of things at birth, for instance. We put eye drops in the eye to prevent from a vaginal infection that potentially can cause blindness. We give vitamin K to newborns so that they won't have a problem, which is basically concerns their bleeding when they're newborns. We also listen to their heart and their lungs, and we pat them on the back and make sure that they breathe properly. We do a lot of things with kids which actually protect them and keep them healthy so that they can grow into healthy young children and adults. So let's get back for a moment to hepatitis B. We started in 1991, and basically, since we had the introduction, we had a dramatic drop in childhood hepatitis B infections and a subsequent drop in children, adolescents, and adults who developed the ravages of hepatitis B. By the way, there is no cure for hepatitis B. Hepatitis B in your body over time, for many people, not all, many children, not all, many adults, not all, but some, develop cirrhosis and liver cancer and die. And when I started medical practice back after I finished medical school in the 1970s, we had whole wards of people with cirrhosis and liver cancer. We don't see that now because, for example, in Taiwan, and they were an early adopter of hepatitis B vaccine, there is a 70% drop in childhood liver cancer and an attendant drop in adult liver cancer and cirrhosis. Now, don't you want to protect your children? Of course, and your grandchildren, and your neighbor's children, and everyone's children from getting the ravages of hepatitis B and liver cancer. Of course you do. And if they get hepatitis B vaccination, they're less likely to get cirrhosis and liver cancer when they become adults. So, of course, it's something we want to do. So here's the problem. Right now, we have something I call the cult of non-vaccination. You could call it a religion of non-vaccination, but I'm going to call it a cult of non-vaccinators. So the cult of non-vaccinators want to get rid of universal vaccination for things that are useful. Why do they want to do that? Well, I'm a doctor and a scientist. I really can't give you an answer as to why they're going to do it and why they want to do it. You can go Google it and figure it out for yourself. I do know that RFK, the head of HSS, has made millions and millions of dollars of lecturing on this. So finances and money are part of it. But the other part of it, I'll leave that up to you. But here's what I think you can do to make a difference. So let me pull back for just a minute. If you don't think you can make a difference, you're wrong. You're wrong. Is it a drop in the bucket? Of course it's a drop in the bucket, but every drop in the bucket makes a difference. That's how things occur. There's a saying in the Jewish Talmud, if you save one life, you save the world. So you might change one mind. Hey, that's better than not changing anything. So if you sit back right now and do nothing and say, ain't it awful, ain't it awful, you're not doing very much. Hope is not a plan. So I've got an idea of how you might take action. Think about it. It'll take 1 hour of your time, maybe a little bit more, but it's better than simply sitting around and going on Facebook and going down a rabbit hole of looking at kitties or something like that. So here's what I recommend you do. Every state has a number of legislators. They have representatives to Congress and they have senators. Write them a letter. Will it make a difference? Maybe. Put your name on, your address, and write them something very simple, such as saying, I'm concerned. Why is the government going to take away my hepatitis B vaccine that should be given to children? Please start bipartisan legislation to stop this from happening. Thank you very much. Please call me. Put your name and your address, send it out. Put a stamp on it. and put it in an envelope and do it. Don't send an email. Emails are worthless. As you know, all you have to do is hit trash and it goes to the trash. But how many letters do you think they actually get that are handwritten by the people who they represent? Not very many. Step number 2, call them up. Maybe you probably won't get a hold of them, but you might. But you're certainly going to get a hold of somebody in the office and say, I'm concerned about the fact that you're going to take away hepatitis B vaccine for my children, my grandchildren, my neighbor's grandchildren, and so on. When they come to your town, go visit them and talk to them. And if you're within 100 miles of a state legislature, you might actually go to the state legislature and reach across the aisle. If you're a Republican, go to the Democrats. If you're a Democrat, go to the Republicans. Healthcare is a universal right for all of us. And prior to the present cult of the non-vaccinators, it was simply something that we all believed in. When we had a heart attack, we went to the hospital. We didn't go to a Democrat hospital or a Republican hospital. We went to a universal hospital. And so it's time for all of us to take action, because that's the only way that we're going to stop this tomfoolery. This is Dr. Zorba, Pastor. Stay well.